Good evening. It's Tuesday, March 18th, 2025, and this is the regular school board meeting for the school district of Springfield Township. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We are starting 11 minutes late, not because of an executive session, but we just had a little bit of a technical difficulty, which happens. So I am sharing a computer with Mr. Needleman, and we will do our best to broadcast and be present in the room. We have a ton on the agenda, so we're going to get right into the action. So let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mission of the school district of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community. Let's do roll call. Ms. Green.
Dr. Aberle. Mrs. Bell. Mr. DeFranco.
Here.
Mrs. Hubley.
Here.
Mrs. Hughes. Mr. Jordan.
Here.
Dr. Taratusky.
Here.
Mr. Needleman.
Here.
Mr. Bedard.
Here. Just one announcement. The board, at its discretion, may videotape all or any portion of public board meetings subject to the limitations set forth in policy 006 meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following each board meeting. We'll jump right into the administrative report, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Yannicone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bedard. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be with you tonight. I'd like to begin by drawing your attention to the Spartan blooms adorning our tables. These arrangements were provided by our students at the middle school, and here to share a little information about them at the beginning of my report is Mandy Shan. You can come right up to this microphone right here. Thank you, Mrs. Shan.
Good evening, everyone. The Student Council Service Club proposed to the Student Council in November a request to show appreciation to the board for your participation in being a part of our school community here in Springfield Township. And they approved the Student Council the purchase through our high school Spartan warehouse, an order for the Spartan blooms on your table. Due to the timing, we wanted them in January for the board appreciation week. However, it didn't work out with our order form. So here they are for an early spring for you to welcome in spring on Thursday, and we hope you enjoy them. And if anyone is interested, the high school Spartan Warehouse does a wonderful job with their transition readiness programming. This is only one of many of their programs, and they have an order coming up at the end of April. So if you are interested in order, you can email the Spartan Warehouse at sdst.org and put an order through for your own arrangement if you'd like to order through them. All right. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Mrs. Shan, and thanks for making sure that all the arrangements got delivered to them. I want to continue my report by sharing a little bit about the month of March, which is a very busy month in the district with the completion of the winter athletics season and the start of spring sports. Our grounds team has been doing an excellent job preparing fields despite the significant rain and wind we've been experiencing recently. We're grateful to them and to our coaches for their dedication to bringing a terrific experience for all of our student athletes. Since last month, we have also enjoyed visiting musician Dr. Rollo Dilworth, who worked with our choral ensembles, and Audrey Vernick, children's author, who met with students at Enfield and Erdenheim to share her expansive library of stories and a really terrific sense of humor. She really helped our students see themselves as writers, and I appreciated her gift of time, the forethought and planning of our librarians, and the generosity of the EEHSP's McFarland Corrigan Speaker Series in sponsoring the visit. The MPA and VOE also hosted several outstanding opportunities to celebrate Black History Month with a Black History Bee and 2 assemblies hosted by the Voices of Excellence. We are grateful to our student leaders and community members who continue to lead these events that are so important to our sense of community. The high school musical Footloose entertained us last month, and in just a few weeks, we'll look forward to Bye Bye Birdie, the middle school production, which will take place in the high school auditorium this year. Marlene Thornton and Alan Meads, along with their tremendous support teams, always do an amazing job in highlighting the broad array of talent in our schools. Just today, I ran into Mr. Meads heading into a rehearsal. We have 96 students from the middle school participating in the middle school musical. Quite an accomplishment. I also want to thank Michelle Lutz for coordinating this year's Family Wellness Fair, which was supported by many local businesses last Wednesday night. This event highlighted the importance of collaboration among the various community organizations that support our students and their families. Looking ahead, this month, we have kindergarten orientation on the 27th, next Thursday night. And so far, we have nearly 150 students already registered for next fall's class of 2038. So look out, here they come. Under board motions, I have a few items to highlight. Under human resources, within the personnel list, I'd like to highlight the hiring of Daniel Coleman as our next assistant business administrator. Mr. Coleman is making the jump from private industry to public education, and our team is very excited to have him join us. While I regret that my administrative assistant, Luann McKenna, is retiring next month after a very long and stellar career with the district, I'm happy to welcome Deborah Scholl into the role, who I have stolen from Ms. Green. You will also find a long list of temporary personnel, most of whom are assisting us in making our athletic programs as inclusive as possible this spring. And finally, there are a number of terrific opportunities for professional learning under conference workshop attendance. On a personal note, I want to thank the entire board for the respectful and collaborative process of bringing forward a successive contract for me to be able to continue to serve the district into 2030. I'm very happy and grateful to be a part of a school community that truly values all its members, and I look forward to working with the board, our administration, staff, students, and families to continue to raise our expectations for what is possible in helping every student to reach their full potential. Under academic affairs, in addition to 2 overnight trips for students who have qualified for national events, you will find updated district calendars for the next 2 years and the calendar for 27-28, which is a first look. We also request the approval of the English Language Development Plan and the Special Education Plan, both of which must be approved by the board before submission to PDE. Under finance, there are several items regarding Fox Rothschild, including our annual agreement for services and HIPAA notice. Items 1 to 3 are technology infrastructure matters, including the purchase of a wireless mobile system for future board meetings to accommodate our move out of the middle school Audion in August of this year to accommodate construction. It will also raise the level of service with regard to the internet, which is part of the issues we've been experiencing in the last few months. You'll also find the next bond resolution for major capital projects, including the middle school renovation and addition project. Under policy, we have the second and final reading of the revised policy on school visitors. And under property, we are requesting to purchase chairs for use at all promotion and graduation events. And we're happy to report that the bid for the 3rd phase of the high school roofing project has come well under budget. This evening's spotlight is our technology department. And so I'm going to turn things over to Director Brandon Lutz. Mr. Lutz.
Good evening, Dr. Yancone, members of the board of school directors, staff, and community members. Mr. Sneed and I are excited to share an overview of the Springfield Technology Department and highlight the great work we're doing to support our schools. So many people think technology as managing passwords, internet access, tech support. While that's important, I think we go beyond that. We bridge the gap between technology and instruction, working closely with the Office of Teaching and Learning to review and integrate technology tools into our systems and classrooms. We maintain and support 187 applications and systems used by students, teachers, and administrators. To improve efficiency, we're standardizing procedures for consistent, reliable support across the district. We also support major district events like board meetings, concerts, musicals, and graduation. Finally, innovation is a priority. We are continuously exploring new technologies to enhance teaching, learning, and cybersecurity. This year, we have focused on artificial intelligence, identifying safe and effective resources for our students and staff. One of our greatest strengths is our team. When I first arrived, one of our staff members told me, "We are the best technology department in the county." I have to say, we are close, but there's always room for improvement. We have restructured the department in 2 key areas: support team, led by myself, providing direct support to schools and staff; a systems team led by Mr. Sneed, managing infrastructure and district-wide technology systems. To improve clarity and alignment with industry standards, we updated position titles. Our technology support specialists support individual schools. The technology analyst supports the administrative office and assists other technology support specialists as needed. And the instructional technology coach works alongside us to integrate technology into instruction. Now I'm going to pass the mic over to Mr. Sneed.
Thank you, Brendan. So thank you for having me. It's my first board meeting, so I just wanted to say I've been here about 6 months and everyone's been very welcoming. I'm fully on board with the mission and vision of the district, and I'm happy to be here and look forward to the future here. So on the system side, we have myself. We have our systems information systems analyst that covers the front end of PowerSchool, grading, report cards, things of that nature. We have our network analyst who covers Wi-Fi, internet access, keeping the lights on, making sure systems can talk to each other. And then we have our systems analyst, which covers our systems. Brandon mentioned we support many systems, and this position helps onboard those systems, works with connecting data between those systems, moving data from point A to point B, et cetera. On the cybersecurity and infrastructure side, we recently installed a new firewall upgrade that gives us more advanced threats. The firewall is our first line of defense into our network. And part of that, we also onboarded a new VPN. The VPN is now restricted to only those that really need access to it. We also protected it with MFA now. And I'm happy to say that MFA is one area where Springfield is ahead of the curve, which is awesome. A lot of districts are still trying to implement that. However, we do utilize a few different methods for completing that process. So we want to make that more efficient and more easy for our staff. Email security, that's the thing that keeps me up at night. Email is the #1 way that attacks get into our network. Anyone from around the world can send an email to anyone in here, dangle a carrot on a stick and say, click me, click me. And it only takes that one bad email and then we're dealing with a threat. So to combat that, we do monthly phishing campaigns. That helps our staff train to identify and react to those in a proper manner. But we also want to invest in what's called an email security solution, which will actually prevent them from getting to us in the first place. We also just navigated a PowerSchool security breach. So sometimes these threats are completely out of our control and we have to deal with them anyway. We think we handled that pretty well. But we're also working on developing an incident response plan. An incident response plan will take us through, it'll give us a playbook so that we know how to respond and act to those. And it's also something that cybersecurity insurances are looking for. So we're working on that as well. We're also in the process of auditing all of our existing systems, making sure that there's no holes, making sure our settings are right, making sure people don't have too much access or too little access. And then we're also overhauling our Wi-Fi. We just purchased new access points as part of the E-rate program. We recently received them and we're going to go through and really overhaul the entire network, reduce the number of networks and make that more seamless and efficient for our staff. Some notable accomplishments over the past few months. We just transitioned to PowerSchool and Schoology. PowerSchool student information system is the brains of an operation in a school district. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of change with that. We think we tackled that pretty well with documentation, one-on-ones, how-tos, and we think we're in a pretty good spot now. We've gotten through 3 report cards so far, so we're good. We've also, on top of that, implemented a new phone system. The phone system is now fully cloud-based, feature-rich, much more stable, and we're really happy about that as well. And with that, I'll back to Brandon.
So another thing that we've done is we've increased visibility in the buildings and support to the teachers and staff by regularly visiting the buildings. In partnership with the teaching and learning, we have started providing professional development opportunities for teachers and staff on various topics like artificial intelligence, technology tools, and Google Workspace. Another major achievement was securing new Chromebooks for middle school and high school students. What makes this especially exciting is that students helped us test the devices, and we're exploring opportunities for students to repair the devices as well. Additionally, we collaborated with the high school team, facilities, business department to fully renovate the LGI, and it's officially going to be called the Spartan Forum, creating a modernized space that students and staff are really excited about. So I've seen some students and staff in there, and it's definitely a home run. And you can see the before and after picture there. So that's the Spartan Forum. Last but not least, thank you for your time. We look forward to continuing to work to support and enhance technology in the school district. Thank you.
So I want to thank both Mr. Lutz and Mr. Sneed. As was already mentioned, Brandon came to us 18 months ago, and Matt came to us 6 months ago. And we've had a number of other changes in the department to restructure, to really make sure that we're refining our services and technology. I'm really proud of the work that they've done and excited for what's coming in the future. I think they are ahead of the curve with regard to technology. I like the idea of always being ready to make improvements, even if we feel like we're the best, that we want to be better than the best. And if there are any questions from the board, I know Brandon and Matt would be happy to answer them. And with that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, any questions from the board? All right, on behalf of the board, I just want to say thank you. It is obvious that you guys are going beyond tech support to fully integrate into the experience of our students and supporting the faculty and staff. And I love the before and after on the forum, the Spartan Forum that we're calling it now. I do want to call out, I was really pleased that you compared major events, concerts, musicals, and board meetings as major events. So thank you for all the support that we receive as well. I also want to call out the Middle School Student Council and the Springfield Blooms, the wonderful gift, really meaningful, and the work that the students are doing and to raise funds as well. It's pretty awesome. So thank you for that. All right, any other comments from the board? We are ready for the Spartan Forum.
I would be happy to provide tours, and I know Dr. Rittenhouse and Mr. Lutz would love to provide tours.
Sure.
And that's a new name. That was fresh. They were working with the students on a new name. So Spartan Forum it is. Right. As long as there's no Brutus in the forum, I'm happy. Okay.
Okay, we're going to move into our reports and information. First up is our homeschool partnership. I think we have updates from Ms. Christia Donahue and Ms. Keisha Bronson Frazier. So Christia, maybe. Ms. Christia, are you online?
Yes,
She
I
is online.
am.
Wonderful. Well, look at you. You're right. You're ready to go. All right, we
Yes,
can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm coming to you live from the end of a very successful family fun night at the book fair here at Enfield. So excuse me if I'm a little flustered. It was very, very busy, but very successful. We are in the throes of our very busy spring season right now. As Dr. Yannick spoke to, we had a wonderful visiting author visit at both schools with Audrey Vernick. The kids loved it. I know they were all excited to get their signed books from her. So we thank the McFarland Foundation for their very generous grant that provides us this opportunity to provide these to our students. Last weekend, we had our talent show, and we welcomed 75 students who performed and assisted us as stage crew and MCs over the course of 2 shows. It was really, really entertaining. We had magicians and gymnasts and drummers, so much talent here in Springfield. So it was a really, really wonderful Saturday. And thank you to everyone who came to cheer them on. Right now, we are in the middle of our Enfield Book Fair, as I mentioned. So that will be going on all this week. And let's see here. We have a couple of family fun nights coming up, which we sponsor on behalf of our grade levels. We have our 3rd grade family fun night. That's going to be at Erdenheim, and that's going to be a circus night. So that'll be very fun. We also have our 2nd grade night, which is going to be a roller skating party offsite. So the 2nd grade families are looking forward to that. On March 29th, we have our sold out designer bag bingo event. that we're really looking forward to. Thank you to Mr. Gibson, who is going to be our MC for that evening. He donates his time to us for that, and we're really grateful for that. Coming up in April, we have our spring family hike sponsored by our Sustainability and Garden Committee. And that's on Saturday, April 6th at Fort Washington State Park for anybody who would like to attend. And I think that's it for the next few weeks until we speak again next month.
That's it? That's all you have to report?
That's it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for the support in the community and all the activities you're doing. I think in the room we have Ms. Bronson Frazier. Good to see you.
So he represents secondary HSP, which is for the middle and high school. And I'm actually very excited to let you guys know we have put a lot of interest and energy into re-engaging and creating a focused approach for our middle school. And we have lots of activities that are on plan that we want to get on your radar, both for the school board, our community, and the district abroad. So coming up, one of the things that we did this year, we have structured similar to what you had at EHSP, but for the middle school, grade level committees. I think one of the things that we heard the most, particularly at the middle school in years past, was that there's lots of activity and interest and engagement at the elementary school. And then when you get to the middle school, as much as our kids might like for us to disappear, we don't want to, and the drop off was significant and what those opportunities were for the middle school for parents to get engaged. So to be able to find a way to create that engagement and that involvement, we now have grade level committees. And so we welcome and invite anyone in the middle school who's interested in being on any of those grade level committees to please reach out to us and we will get you in those meetings. Some things that we now have in progress at the specific grade levels for the 6th grade, we will be supporting the day of service with a student teacher volleyball competition that's scheduled for May 9th. We are looking for additional ideas, potentially maybe a bowling party or some other type of end of the year activities for 6th grade that we could support as well. The 7th grade is doing a softball game on April 10th. And then the 8th grade, we will continue to support the year activities for 8th grade with the dance on June 6th, and then the yearbook signing spritzer. It's not necessarily a big picnic, but we'll have refreshments on on June 9th. Outside of the grade level committees, we still have our key marquee events that we support collectively. So we'll be doing staff appreciation on the week of May 5th. You should have seen requests for donations to support that. One thing that we want to make very, very clear, at a secondary level, we don't have a bunch of fundraising and events and activities where we collectively solicit funds on an ongoing basis. Anything that we support comes from the community and from the teachers and from the parents. And the teacher appreciation is the biggest and best way that we can show that appreciation. So we do solicit volunteers to help support the event, as well as to fund the donations to offset the lunch that we provide for our staff and our administration and our teachers. So not just teachers, we do the administration as well. So be on the lookout for the request for donations for that. We will have that the week of May 5th. And we also are going to launch a family fun event as well with an old school skate party on May 21st. That's a Wednesday. So be looking on the lookout for invitations and ticket sales for that. We also will be helping out this year with Color Day on May 30th. And then student government activity around the year-end picnic on the 1st, and potentially Career Day. Lots of things that are going on. We're very happy to get re-engaged and involved at the middle school level and encourage anyone who wants to be a part of that to reach out to us through the emails, springfieldsecondary@hsp@gmail.com, or you can just reach out to the district and they'll forward any request for involvement to us directly. The last thing that I do want to call out is with our donation requests, we're also looking for funds for our year-end rewards. We offer about $1,000 in year-end rewards to our graduating seniors and 8th grade matriculating middle school students as well. And those awards have been really legacy-based, just to acknowledge really stellar proficiency in particular grades or topics, or like the Maggie Bookman Award and the Myra Plumage Award. So just things that have sat in the school district and in Springfield year over year. So we're also looking for donations and support to be able to continue to honor those this year as well. Finally, I invite anyone at the middle school to join us next Wednesday March 26th, where we will have a general meeting update. And at that one, we're going to host an AMA, meaning Ask Me Anything, for Dr. Mangano. So we'll play a little game of Jeopardy where we have some, coded questions with, how much points you can raise for a particular topic, and a couple of double Jeopardies where you can ask her whatever you want. But really, it's an opportunity for those of you who have not had a chance to get to know her and be familiar with her, to ask her what, her thoughts are, her experiences, her background, and really get to understand Dr. Mangano and all that she's doing for our middle school kids. So with that, I thank you for the opportunity to present to you today. Thank you.
Awesome. Great update. Any comments or questions from the board? All right. We'll probably do an open Ask Me Anything as well. That sounds like a excellent. Okay, now if that was a lot from our parents and homeschool partnership, let's hear what's happening from a student perspective. And we'll turn to our student rep to the board, Ms. Sophia Gotti.
All right, thank you so much. So I'm just going to jump straight in and start my report off with Enfield. So on February 18th, Enfield hosted an exciting assembly featuring the Philly Fanatic. The morning was filled with energy and enthusiasm as students celebrated the importance of reading with the world's best mascot. The Harlem Wizards visited Enfield on February 22nd. And so Miss Stephanie, Mrs. D. Krillis, Miss DeRosa, Mrs. K, Mr. Fleming, and Dr. Markle all participated alongside additional district staff. The night promoted teamwork, school spirit, and fun for all who attended. Throughout February, in honor of Black History Month, classrooms showcased inspiring Black historical figures with creative door displays. Students participated in gallery walks, learning from each display to foster an appreciation for history and cultural contributions. The third annual Family Wellness Night, organized by Dr. Lutz on March 12th, offered an interactive evening promoting health and well-being. Families enjoyed activities focused on fitness, mindfulness, and nutrition with fun prizes for kids to take home. Enfield also participated in Read Across America, where students and staff embraced the joy of reading. Every student received bookmarks and pencils from the reading specialists and librarians celebrating their love for books. And finally, as you've heard, the book fair is now open. Students will be able to browse the selection and try new books. As for Erdenheim, on Tuesday, February 25th, Erdenheim hosted the High School Voices of Excellence as they led a school-wide Black History Month assembly. They highlighted music, art, and dance during the presentation. And on Friday, February 28th, fourth grade students and teachers took a field trip to the Franklin Institute. Wednesday, March 5th, the fifth grade students and teachers visited the Museum of the American Revolution. And also on March 11th, 12th, and 13th, third grade students and teachers visited the Penn Museum, where they were able to make great connections to their current units of study in CKLA. Tongue twister, sorry about that. Friday, March 14th and 21st marks the dates for spring conferences. And finally, this evening, fourth and fifth graders will head to the annual Reading Olympics competition at Hatboro Horsham High School. Over at the middle school this month, seventh graders will get opportunities to visit the high school. Course selection has started, so eighth graders will start working on new course selection for their freshman year. And parent-teacher conferences are ongoing and will be held throughout the month. And at the last for the middle school is that spring sports have officially started. And wrapping it all up, at the high school, they just hosted their spring musical Footloose from March 6th to 9th. Many thespians also submitted performance to the thespian competition, with 7 students earning the highest distinction. Additionally, the Student Council hosted a successful day-long March Madness tournament on March 7th. The senior team won for the fourth year in a row after neck-and-neck competitions. High school students have also organized a Make-A-Wish Dine and Donate at Enza Pizzeria on March 12th and 19th. The academic team has placed third at the regional competition, and finally, the high school newspaper, The Chronicle, released articles in late February. A lot of reports, but that concludes all my information for the month. Thank you very much.
It's been an incredibly busy month. Thank you, Ms. Gotti. I appreciate the update. Any comments or questions? All right, let's get right to the fan favorite update, which is our Finance Committee meeting report from Mr. DeFranco.
I feel like I give one of these at every meeting. So we had a Finance Committee meeting on Friday, March 7th, 8 a.m. via Zoom. Committee members in attendance, Mr. Bedard, myself, Mr. Jordan. From the administration, we had Dr. Yannicone, Ms. Green, Ms. Jenko, Mr. Bray. And then for student reps, we had Sanaya Mann and Surian Herrera Stacy. Okay, got it. On the agenda, we had Mr. Bray kicking us off with a bus replacement discussion. This includes deferred replacements of 2 buses. One is a 2005, the other is a 2009 model year bus. There's currently a 6 to 12 month lead time on bus replacements. Rather than having a vote on this order tonight, what we're actually waiting on is pricing from the vendor. So in addition to the lead time on the bus, we have lead time on pricing. So next on the agenda, we had a first look at the 2025-2026 budget. Ms. Green began with a review of the district guiding principles and the Act 1 index history. The Act 1 index is slated to be 4% for the 2025-2026 school year. Next was a review of the revenue assumptions, including real estate tax revenue, real estate transfer tax, earned income tax revenue, state revenue, which is based on the 24-25 allocations, federal revenue, also based on the 24-25 allocations. And then moving on to the expenditure assumptions, including contractual obligations that account for roughly 88.5% of the budget, covering salaries and benefits, leases and rentals, educational operational license renewals, custodial services, security services, substitute services, utilities, and debt service. Technology expenditures include ongoing cybersecurity implementation, grade 6 through 12 Chromebook replacements, K through 12 music MacBook replacements, district-wide copiers, which is a 5-year lease renewal, and district-wide wiring upgrades, depending on the receipt of an E-rate funding. District-wide classroom phone upgrades are also underway. Facility expenditures include ongoing district-wide preventative maintenance, operation safety capital projects, which can be prioritized in the 5-year capital operational plan, which will be prioritized. And of course, the middle school renovation additions project, partially financed through a 2025 bond issuance, and an increase to annual debt service. The bond parameters resolution for the next bond issuance is on tonight's agenda. The first look budget anticipates a tax increase of 4%, with anticipated expenditures totaling $76,307,395, and anticipates revenues of $74,624,392, leaving the district with a difference of $1,683,003 to be supplemented from fund balance. We reviewed the monthly and annual impact of this increase on the median Springfield Township homeowner and compared it with some alternatives while balancing the differences with additional fund balance usage. For a median homeowner, a 4% increase would result in additional outlay of $19.90 per month, or $238.82 over the year. We closed out with a review of the budget process timeline. Next in the process will be the April 11th Finance Committee meeting, where we'll review the proposed final budget. That meeting will be followed on April 22nd by a regular board meeting to vote on approving the proposed final budget. And then on June 3rd, an interim board meeting to vote on approving the final budget. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. DeFranco. Any comments or questions from the board? Upcoming meeting was April 11th.
My notes said.
Okay,
Yes.
great. We'll look forward to that. The budget process moves pretty quickly as it sneaks right up on the following year. All right, we will now turn over to Dr. Lee Eberly to give an update on Academic Affairs Committee meeting.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's been a really busy time for the Academic Affairs Committee, and we've had 2 meetings since the last board meeting. So I'll go through those one by one. The first meeting was February 19th at 3:30, held over Zoom. In attendance were committee members Mrs. Hubley, Dr. Taratuski, Mrs. Bell, myself, Dr. Aberley, Dr. Yannick and Dr. Johnson. We had student reps Anya Gainsman, Isaac Darga, Sophia Gatti. Additional panelists, Dr. Rittenhouse, Dr. Mangano, Dr. Dragan, Mr. Payne, Dr. Dennis, Ms. Schrage, Ms. Bechtel, and Ms. Gutschall. The first item was a presentation by Dr. Dragan, who provided an overview of the recommended changes for the high school programme of studies. This included information on the honour roll, scheduling, dual enrolment, dual credit offerings, and updates to course offerings for the 2025-2026 school year. After reviewing the proposed changes, the committee agreed to approve the updated programme of studies. The second item was a proposal to change the course sequence for the middle school mathematics program with a presentation from Dr. Mangano, Mr. Payne and Mrs. Gutschall and Miss Bechtel. The changes were focused on identifying the impact of student progression in foundational mathematics skill development, with options presented for a typical and an accelerated mathematics sequence from middle school to high school. They also shared this thorough stakeholder communication plan. The committee agreed to move forward with the recommended shifts as discussed in the meeting. The third topic was a presentation of the 2025-2028 Special Education Plan. Dr. Dennis shared the key components of the comprehensive triennial special education plan per the PA Department of Education. The committee agreed to move the plan along in a motion for the board meeting, which is tonight for the required 30-day posting. The fourth item were changes to the proposed calendars, but we ran out of time because of all of the great content, and it was postponed to the next meeting. There were no public comments in the meeting, and the next meeting was March 12th, which was 4 p.m, and that was also held over Zoom. So that meeting, committee members in attendance were Mrs. Hubley, Mrs. Bell, myself, Dr. Rabelli, Dr. Yannicone, Dr. Johnson. Student representative present was Anya Gainsman, and additional panelists were Dr. Lutz, Dr. Dennis, Dr. Rittenhouse, Dr. Mangano, Mr. Spiker, Dr. Markle, Dr. Dragan, Mrs. Brady, Miss Spoll, Mrs. Schmidt, Mrs. Zimmerman, and Miss Kohler. The first topic presented in the most recent meeting was the English Language Development Programme Plan. An overview and update of the plan's services for multilingual students was shared. The revised programme includes updates to the vision and belief statements and revising the language from English learner to multilingual learner. The programme aligns with state and national requirements, and the team shared details on the programme instructional materials and community engagement. The resulting document is organised into a dynamic, visually engaging and accessible resource guide and will be a great handbook for staff and families. Once approved per tonight's agenda, it will be available on the school district of Springfield Township website, and it is actually a really awesome, beautiful document to look at, so I do encourage people to look at that. The second item was a mid-year update on student achievement, where all instructional leaders gave an update on their building and department goals and action steps that had been previously shared in October 2024. This included items such as academic performance, building initiatives and priorities, and progress towards instituting new systems and programs. The third topic was a proposal around restructuring middle school special area learning by Dr. Mangano and Mrs. Brady. The team is exploring strategies to free up a targeted period for enrichment and/or intervention to ensure each student at the middle school has access to the resources, supports and programs they need. To ensure students are not pulled in too many directions, the recommendation is to move the ensemble music program into the core schedule. This will allow students to have focused time at the end of the day for club, learning and/or social activities as planned enrichment or intervention. The details will be shared when they are presented at the updated curriculum guide for the middle school at the April Academic Affairs meeting. Fourth item was the elementary curriculum guide with the 2025-2026 update. This was shared by Dr. Markle and Mr. Spiker. The aim is to distribute the guide at transition and orientation sessions with families, giving an opportunity for families to learn about the school and how to seek clarification or ask any questions. The key changes for the elementary guide include addition of annual celebration events, updates to the sections on student progress, and more details about the health programs for grades 4 and 5, as well as clarification on our social emotional learning programs. District calendars were the final item discussed. Dr. Yannicone reviewed the proposed revisions for the district calendars for 25 to 2026 and 2026 to 2027. She also provided the first look for the calendar for 2027 to 2028. The factors influencing the calendars were reviewed. The committee approved moving these calendars forward to the board meeting for a vote at this evening's meeting. There were no public comments for that meeting. The next meeting date is April 23rd, 2025. And I would just encourage anyone who is interested to watch the meeting recordings and check out the shared materials. There is a lot of content there. That concludes the report.
Just based on the number of attendees at those meetings, I take back the fan favorite that goes to academic affairs. Any comments or questions on that comprehensive report? All right, thank you guys for having 2 full meetings in between the last board meeting. All right, next up is our public comments on agenda items. I'll turn it over to Mr. Needham.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bedard. We're gonna now take comment on agenda items. I do not see that anyone who is joining us in person has signed up to speak. So I'm at the risk of betraying Mr. Bedard's trust. My technology has failed. So if anyone is joining us online, I can't see you at the moment. Oh, there we go.
We do have access over here, so we can see hand raising.
All right, I am gonna ask that you raise hands. I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Bedard. Please do raise your hand, and at this time, while we're waiting to see if any hands are raised, I do just want to remind everyone, we do have a 3-minute time limit, and I'll just ask that you identify where you live in the township. I don't see any hands raised, so we can close this portion of the meeting out and we'll move on to the next.
Okay, we have the business of the meeting. We'll move into approval of minutes. We have two approvals that we're going to combine, the approval of last meeting's minutes and the treasurer's report. I will read both recommended actions and ask for a vote on both. Recommended action on approval of minutes. The Board of School Directors approves the board minutes from the February 18th, 2025 regular board meeting. And on the approval of treasurer's reports, the recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the February 28th, 2025 treasurer's report. Is there a motion on both of these? Thank you. And a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions on treasurer's report or the minutes? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The reports are good to go. We'll move into human resources. First is our personnel file. Recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment: administrative, confidential, certified, support, temporary, extra pay for extra responsibilities 2024 and 2025, and extra pay for extra responsibilities 2025 and 2026, and finally, conference workshop attendance. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second. We have a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? We are good on the personnel file. Next up, general healthcare resources. And then we have an addendum. Recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the addendum to the contract with General Healthcare Resources to add additional related services rates for counselor, social workers, and psychologists effective March 4th, 2025. Is there a motion? Thank you. A second. Any comments or questions on the addendum? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? The addendum will pass. Next item, election of superintendent of schools. The recommended action here, the Board of School Directors elects Dr. Mary Jo Yannicone as superintendent of schools of the School District of Springfield Township, effective December 5th, 2025 through June 30th, 2030, at an initial annualized salary of $265,000 prorated, subject to the contract between the School District of Springfield Township and Dr. Mary Jo Yannicone, and further subject to the official motion to elect prepared by the district solicitor. Is there a motion? We've had multiple motions. That's a good sign. All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
And multiple seconds. Any comments or questions on the election of our superintendent of schools? On behalf of the board, I just want to say congratulations and also thank you for a great dialogue to get to a final contract. And we are excited to have you continue this work within the district. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Congratulations, Dr. Yannicone.
Thank you.
All right, on to academic affairs. Overnight field trip for DECA. Board of School Directors approves the overnight field trip for 2 students to attend the DECA International Career Conference in Orlando, Florida, from April 26th through April 30th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
I have a question.
Please.
In the agenda item, it actually says, it says 2 students, but the form looks like 1.
Cone is double checking.
Okay. Okay. Okay, thanks for clarification.
So officially, we can still do the approval for 2 in case the student has a change of plans, but there's only 1 registered. Okay, great question. Thank you. All right, any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Next, oh, that will pass. All right, international field trip for International Thespian Festival. The Board of School Directors approves the overnight field trip for 25 students to attend the International Thespian Festival at the University of Indiana, Bloomington, Indiana, from June 22nd through June 28th, 2025. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Very good. Should be a great trip. Next, special education plan 30-day review. The recommended action here, the Board of School Directors approves the 30-day review of the 2025-2028 special education plan in accordance with Chapter 13 of the Pennsylvania School Code. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? 30-day view is good to go. Next, English language development revised program of study. The recommended action here, the Board of School Directors approves the revised English language development program of study per the attachment. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor of the new English language development study, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, we are good to go on the program of study. Next, the 2025-2026 and 2026-2027 school calendars. Recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the revisions to the 25-26 and the 26-27 school calendars. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? All right, the calendars are good as presented. Next, the 2027-2028 school calendar. Recommended action on this item. The Board of School Directors approves the 27-28 school calendar. Is there a motion? And a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? All right, school calendar for 28 is good. Moving on to finance. We have an item here for Chester County Intermediate Unit. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the purchase of rubric data backup service from the Chester County Intermediate Unit for a total amount of $56,250 for a 27-month term, beginning April 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2027. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions?
Quick question.
Please.
Is this I'm sorry, I didn't let you know I had this question ahead of time, just popped in my head, but is this replacing something or extending something or something completely new?
We are replacing our current backup system with a new product, which we believe will be a higher quality service for us. And this is to make sure that if the service goes out, we have backup so that we don't lose service. I'm looking at Mr. Sneed. How'd I do? Okay, all right.
So is our current backup on site?
Mr. Sneed, I think I need you now.
Okay. Perfect, thank you.
All right, great question. Any others? Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? All right, we will upgrade our backup. Next item, the mysterious CDW-G. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the purchase of wireless audio equipment from CDW-G in the amount of $24,778.59. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Second. Any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? All right, wireless audio is good. Next is Crown Castle. The recommended action is the Board of School Directors approves a 60-month term agreement with Crown Castle to provide the district's internet, Ethernet, and fiber services at an annual cost of $39,600 beginning July 1st, 2025 and concluding June 30th, 2030. Is there a motion? And a second. Second. Any comments or questions? I just had one question on the length of contract. It is a 5-year contract standard, and do we have options within that contract if service levels are not what we expect?
It's annually renewable, and we can extend for 5 additional annual renewable beyond 2030 if we like. Mr. Lex is nodding, but I remembered that correctly. Okay. And it's also E-rate.
What is E-rate? Sorry.
Okay. So
Added a little detail.
that's okay. That is a grant-funded program that we will not, and I will say this, we will not purchase this product unless and until we are confirmed that the federal government will be providing E-rate. Because it's about 50% of the total cost of the product. So we'll go back to the drawing board if there's any changes. But we are hopeful that internet will not be part of any reductions. Okay. We think so. Yes.
Okay. Please.
So, sorry, are there any SLAs associated? It's not on this contract.
I'm going to need an acronym explanation.
Service level
SLA.
agreement. Service level agreement.
Okay, gentlemen.
Some of the documents received that does guarantee. A lot harder than I thought. Some of the documentation received from them does contain some SLA information in there. Crown Castle is also very reputable. They service almost every district in this area, as well as the Montgomery County IU. Previous district, to answer your other question, my previous district actually had a contract for them for 25 years. And it's actually very advantageous because the pricing is constantly going up. So now we're basically locked in at this pricing if we choose to for 10 years at our option. So.
Thank you very much.
Very good discussion. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, we will now move to the appointment of interim treasurer. Recommended action here, the Board of School Directors approves the appointment of Mrs. Elizabeth Vogelbacker as the interim treasurer effective March 19th, 2025 and through April 22nd, 2025. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? We're good. We'll move on to Fox Rothschild. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the appointment of Fox Rothschild LLP as solicitor for the School District of Springfield Township for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, based upon the following: a retainer of $22,500 per year, a base hourly rate of $205, alternative rates in accordance with the attached engagement letter, and rates as established by the insurance carrier where Fox Rothschild LLC is an approved provider. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on the Fox Rothschild engagement letter? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Well, Mr. Sultanic, congratulations. Appreciate your support, and we look forward to another year of engagement. Next, the Fox Rothschild HIPAA Business Associate Agreement. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the HIPAA Business Associate Agreement between the School District of Springfield Township and Fox Rothschild LLP as a result of Fox Rothschild LLP handling cases that involve protected health information on behalf of the district for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Is there a motion? And a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? That will pass. Next, bond parameters resolution. The recommended action. The Board of School Directors approves a resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds in the amount of up to $12 million for the purposes of repairs, renovations, additions, and improvements to Springfield Township Middle School, various other capital improvements to school facilities and school buildings owned and operated by the school district, and paying the costs and expenses related to the issuance of the bonds. Is there a motion? And a second. Any comments or questions on the bond issuance? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Bond issuance is good to go. We're moving on to policy. Only one item, and this is revised policy 907. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the second reading of revised policy 907, school visitors, per the attachment. Is there a motion? Double motion. Is there a second? Double second. Any comments or questions on policy 907? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstention? All right, policy 907 is revised. Under property, we do have a couple of items. First is Next Gen Furniture Incorporated. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the purchase of 2,000 folding chairs for district-wide events. These will be from Next Gen Furniture Incorporated in the amount of $26,635 under the CoStar's contract number 035E22189. Is there a motion? And a second. Any comments or questions?
I have one question.
Please.
I'm guessing that this is because we rent chairs a lot and it's just going to be cheaper to have our own chairs.
That is correct.
Okay.
Far more cost effective to purchase.
Yes. Okay.
Where will 2,000 chairs be stored?
Mr. Watley. 2,000 chairs be stored.
Wonderful. Inquiring minds. All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of chairs, say aye. Aye. Any opposed of chairs, say nay. And any chair abstentions? We will have the chairs. Next up, roofing and construction services. A larger number. Recommended action here, the Board of School Directors approves Procom Roofing and Construction Services as the lowest responsible bidder for Phase 3 of the Springfield Township High School Roof Replacement Project in the amount of $1,716,096 under CoStar's contract number 008 E231125. Is there a motion? And a second. Thank you. Any comments or questions on the roofing project? I just want to confirm, because sometimes these votes are separated from the updates. This bid, lowest responsible, is coming in under what we had projected for the project.
That's correct. Ms. Green, do you have a ballpark on how far under we were?
I believe the project's total budget was originally 2.6 and it came in at 1.7. So significant savings.
That's excellent. Okay.
This is the section of the roof over the pool, just as an.
Good. Well,
This is the company that did phase 1 on the project, so
excellent.
consistency.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? All right, we have board updates. A new board meeting schedule is going to be published after tonight, which is exciting. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the attached board meeting dates for the 2025-2026 school year for the attachment. Is there a motion? And a second? Any comments or questions on the revised calendar? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. I don't think you can abstain from the schedule of our board meetings, so I want to ask. We are good to go. And that, as you can tell from my voice, concludes a lengthy agenda, and we will now move into public comment on non-agenda items. We'll open up the floor, and I will turn it over to Mr. Needleman.
Give you as much rest as I can. We are now going to take comment on non-agenda items. I do not see that anyone who's joining us in person has signed up to speak. So I'll ask anyone who is joining us online to please raise their hand. And technology having failed me once again, I'm going to have to look over Mr. Bedard's shoulder and Dr. Yannick's shoulder and just ask if anyone does want to make a comment on a non-agenda item, please raise a digital hand and we'll call on you. Want to reiterate at this time that we do have a 3-minute time limit. And I would ask that you let us know where you live in the township. And I don't see any hands raised. So why don't we?
Do it. I do want to suggest, since we have, I know we have pretty good attendance tonight. A lot of people came in after the starting bell. So just want to see if anyone in the room had comments or questions on non-agenda items.
I do not see going once, going twice. I don't see that anyone does want to raise up or make a comment or anything. So I think we're satisfied there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Future board meeting dates. We do have 2 upcoming board meetings. The interim board meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, April 1st, 2025. That is not a joke. That is Monday, April 1st, 2020. Why is it on a Monday? May I ask?
It's not a Monday. It's a Tuesday.
So it is an April Fool's joke early. Let's read this
It's like a
again.
very tentative.
The tentative interim board meeting is Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. And the regular board meeting is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. These are hybrid meetings. Reminder, all of our meetings are held in person in the Audion, which which is located in the middle school cafeteria. Future committee meeting dates. Our Finance Committee will meet on Friday, April 11th at 8 a.m. And this is a virtual meeting. And our Academic Affairs Committee will again be meeting on Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025 at 4 p.m. Also a virtual meeting. The details for registering for these meetings can be found on the district website. And we encourage the public to attend the committee meetings. With that, I'll open it up to the board for any closing comments or thoughts. All right.
I just wanted
Please.
to say thank you for the flowers and the recognition. They're beautiful, and have a wonderful spring, everyone.
It is exciting to get back into the spring and great updates tonight from our community partners and our student representative. Dr. Yannicone, I'll give you a final word.
I'm going to just echo Dr. Tartuski. Happy spring, everyone. Looking forward to it.
All right, have a good evening, Wildren.